This content is recreated to fit YouTube's policies, fair use, and licensed content. Welcome back to another episode of Whip Media TV. I'm your host, Whip Media Mickey, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do to the channel. Subscribe right now, join the Vibe Tribe. And if you're feeling generous and want to leave me a tip for my extra hard work and my editing skills, I'll leave the link down below. Okay, on today's episode, I cover Benjamin Button, Love Your Life. Benjamin Button is loosely based upon a short story by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald mentions the idea for Benjamin Button came from a remark made by Mark Twain about how unfortunate it is that the best part of your life is the beginning and the worst part is the end. In the short story, Benjamin Button is born as an old man and dies as a baby in a crib. Throughout his life, he encounters many obstacles regarding the discrepancy between his age and his appearance. When he is 18 years old, for instance, he passes the entrance exam at Yale College but is rejected for being an old lunatic who thinks he's a freshman. In his later years, when he looks like a boy, he's invited to return to the military and is granted a higher rank for his service during the Spanish-American War. When he presents himself at the base, his superiors laugh and send him back home. The best part of his life is seemingly the very middle, when he looks like a college student. During this time, he plays for Harvard football team and gets his revenge on Yale College for scoring several touchdowns and taking out many of their players. The movie deviates significantly from the short story and only keeps Benjamin's name and idea of reverse aging. Yet arguably the biggest difference is to take on romance. In the short story, Benjamin falls in love with the general's daughter, Hildegard Moncrief, who he eventually marries. After a few years, he grows older and her beauty fades. Benjamin becomes disinterested and goes to war to avoid being at the home. The relationship dissolves. Hildegard moves to Italy, and she's never mentioned again in the remainder of the story. In the movie, however, the relationship between Benjamin and Daisy endures time and distance. Their love story is part of the beauty of the movie. Interestingly enough, it's the emphasis on romance that allows the movie to deliver the same message as the short story. See, Benjamin and Daisy cannot be together when they meet because they are both very young and Benjamin looks very old. They are both scolded by Daisy's grandmother for spending time together at night under the tablecloths. Near the end of the movie, Benjamin becomes far too young and develops dementia. Since his mind ages chronologically, which makes him forget Daisy, regardless of his age or memory, Daisy still cares for Benjamin until his last breath. It's when they reach the middle of their lives, when their ages and physical appearance are closest, that they finally become their happiest selves. During this part of the movie, the couple sail around Florida and enjoy a paradise montage with light-hearted music and a lot of snuggling. See Benjamin and Daisy moving together and there's another joyful montage, this time to the energetic sound of Twist and Shout by the Beatles. The pattern is undeniable. The short story and the movie both demonstrate that the middle of life is the sweetest, not the beginning as Mark Twain thought. However, the ending of the movie puts forth another message, one that is harder to decipher. The backwards round clock that is introduced at the beginning of the movie seems to be tied to Benjamin and his condition. Just as the clock reverses time, Benjamin's apparent age regresses. Just like the short story, his biggest enemy is time. During his early days in the nursing home, he learns that the progression of time means that the people around him would eventually die. As he grows younger, he encounters many people who come and go, many of which are included in the final scene. All of these characters are presented in Benjamin's life until time takes them away from him. He expresses this fear shortly after the "Will You Still Love Me" scene, when he says, "I was thinking how nothing lasts, and what a shame that is." That's part of why this movie is so impactful. Change is inevitable and constant. Everyone experiences change one way or another. And the anxiety that Benjamin has about nothing lasting painfully resonates with almost anyone. The ending focuses on the different people in Benjamin's life, as his voiceover mentions what each of them was drawn to: rivers, lightning, music, art, swimming, Shakespeare, motherhood. Then the backwards running clock is shown one last time under a tarp, and the scene fades to black. There are many different interpretations of the ending, but when it's combined with the clock theme and the letter Benjamin wrote to his daughter, the message becomes a little clearer. Caroline reads Benjamin's letter out loud, and the first line is, "For what it's worth, it's never too late, or in my case too early, to be whoever you want to be." Benjamin seems to learn that even though time is a restriction, people can do whatever they choose with what they're given. That's exactly what the ending exemplifies. All those people have passions and gifts. Their lives may have been limited by time they were given on earth, but they all pursued and lived with what they loved. Queenie, Benjamin's adoptive mother, longs to have a child. She takes Benjamin in when his father abandons him, and she raises him as her own. Despite deformities, eventually she's blessed with her own baby. Elizabeth Abbott, the woman that Benjamin meets in Murmansk, tries to swim the English Channel in her youth. She gives up before reaching the shore and refuses to try it again because of her age. Benjamin sees her on television many years later when she successfully swims the entire channel at the age of 68. In the end, the clock keeps ticking. Even since the removal from the train station, and even as the flood waters rise, years transpire, changes occur, but even the most ordinary of lives, there exists a chance to pursue happiness. What makes Benjamin Button such a powerful movie is its ability to evoke a love of life. The ending inspires a will to push for one's own happiness, to seize the day, to control the change one wishes to see.